Hey, Brandon here. Welcome to the channel and thanks for tuning in. Hard to believe we're through week 11 of college football with only 2 weeks remaining of college football season. But you know what that means, man? It is the 2024 NFL draft season. This channel is dedicated to helping you identify future NFL talent for our dynasty and fantasy rosters, man. So you play dynasty, you play fantasy, and you're looking for a YouTube channel out there that's going to give you an early glimpse of future players that are going to hit our rookie drafts, man. Hit that subscribe button. My podcast co-host and I, we're going to talk about 6 players right now. We're going to talk about 4 stock up players and 2 stock down players through week 11 of college football. The stock down player that I'm going to talk about is a heartbreaker, man. So tune in. I'm going to insert this from our podcast. Enjoy the show and hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching. All right, Jason, let's get to our NFL stock report. All right, I'm going to go first here. We're going to talk about 2 stock up players, guys. We're going to talk about 2 stock down players. First guy I want to talk about is Trey Harris, 6'2", 205 pounds. He is a senior now. He played 3 seasons at Louisiana Tech, transferred to SEC Ole Miss, man. I love players who transfer to the SEC and play ball and play better and are more productive than where they were. You know what that tells me? Situation matters. All right. So, so sometimes these kids are late bloomers. But I just made a film on the Texas A&M game that he had, and it was really impressive. I put a tweet out there earlier today of a catch that he had on the boundary. That was, did you see that at all?
I did not.
No. So, I mean, it was unbelievable, but go check out that film, here on the channel, guys. If you want to see it, but, I think he's an early day 3 guy, but he's getting more and more buzz. He's been really productive on the season, at least, here through week 11 or 12. Where are we at? 761 yards, 7 TDs, 63% catch percentage. I've always got like my threshold for that is like 70. But he's a boundary guy. And he's just another one of these, bigger receivers. But his draft stock, again, I watch these mock drafts, and I'm all over the mock draft scene out there. And these guys, and Trey Harris is getting some buzz. I think he'd be like an early day 3 guy. He's not going to bust into the top, 7 or 8, I don't think, or 9, but a player to watch for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And Ole Miss has done pretty well as far as producing receivers. So that's another thing too.
Yeah.
Yeah, my guys, I almost feel like I'm cheating because it's pretty obvious, but Jaden Daniels is definitely a riser and making me question my process a little bit. And one of the things we talked about last week when we were doing our quarterback rankings, and I told you there was some research done where Super Bowl winning quarterbacks are the ones that have had a lot of experience playing the game in college, high school. Like they have that. Well, that's Jaden Daniels. I mean, this is his 5th year. He spent 3 years at Arizona State, and now he's done pretty well for LSU. Last year, not so much. There was a bit of a learning curve, but this year, man, he is freaking killing it. He's got 3,100 yards passing, 30 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, and over 1,000 yards rushing. And then this last game, obviously, it is putting him on the map. There are definitely some inaccuracies when he throws the ball still, some overthrows. So things that he still needs to work on, but he is a playmaker. He could put the entire game on his shoulders, and that says a lot about a quarterback. And that's exactly what NFL teams are going to want, is a competitor and a guy who is not scared of big moments and can make big plays when necessary. And that is Jaden Daniels. And for that, he is definitely stock up.
Oh yeah. I mean, there's people talking QB 3, 4 now, like lock.
I understand it.
I understand it too. Listen, man, the dude's mobility and wow moments and his ability to create is just phenomenal, so especially if he goes and he interviews with an NFL team and they love the intangibles and he's got those leadership qualities and they feel like, like I love what you said, the moment's not too big for him, right? I mean, LSU is a pretty big stage to play on, right? So I like it, man. I mean, with that, the NFL's get sucked into these dual threats. They love that. They love that about it. And us as fantasy people, we love it too.
Do we ever?
Yes, so we do. So I'm going to go with another kind of deeper name because we've been really hitting a lot of the upper echelon names over the last few weeks since this is a weekly show here that we do. But I'm going to go with Cody Shrader, 5'9", 214 pounds senior from Missouri. All right. Now he was a D2 player. He was a walk-on in 2022 at Missouri. Got the ball a little bit, but he's really been impressive. He has 6 100 rushing yard performances this season, 4 of which came against SEC competition. I love they run a lot of outside zones, and he seems to do a really good job navigating his way and, looking at the cutback lanes. He runs hard with good pad level, man. I love how he initiates contact. He's a tough runner. He's the only player in SEC history with 200 plus rushing yards and 100 plus receiving yards in one game.
Amazing.
So the only player that they didn't even say like a wide receiver or anything, or like, the wide receiver wouldn't have 200 rushing yards, so it would have to be a running back. But listen, he's a day 3 guy too. All right, this isn't any player, but hey, man, we've seen stranger things happen. We have seen stranger starting running backs in the NFL over the years. So you just never know. So he's getting some, early, day 3 draft kind of discussion and buzz right now. This running back class is weak, man. And you just never know. Right opportunity, right place at the right time in an NFL roster, and you get some sort of decent draft capital. You just never know what can happen. So, Cody Shrader is my second stock up player tonight.
I love this call. I'm a huge fan of Cody Shrader, and I love what he did against Georgia too. I mean, talk about a guy who's a walk-on to perform the way that he does, the work ethic that he must have. The only thing that throws me off in terms of dynasty and rookie drafts is he's 24 years old. But I promise you, I'm going to be targeting him in every rookie draft, because if he gets an opportunity, I would not put it past him that he is going to produce for an NFL team if he has like that pinch starter role.
Right.
I love that call. Yep. My next guy is going to be Ohio State tight end Cade Stover. And, one of this might be like, of course, he's a riser and everything, but I really want to identify the fact that he has been great with showcasing his hands, and that was one of the biggest knocks I actually had on him last year, was just the inconsistency. And it's not even the drops, it's just being on time at the catch point and knowing exactly where he needs to be. He has an 85% catch rate this year. He has caught 34 of his 40 targets, and in contested situations, he's caught 5 of 6 of those at 83% in contested situations as well. So Cade Stover is he's almost like the Michael Mayer, just completely consistent. And he's basically the second option at Ohio State right now. When was the last time we saw a tight end perform at this high of a level? We thought that was going to be Jeremy Ruckert, who is a high 5-star recruit. No, it's Cade Stover. So Cade Stover, to me, definitely is on the rise.
Yeah, it's a weak tight end class from the draft guys.
It is a weak tight end class.
So it's kind of like Brock Bowers, and then we'll see who else kind of emerges. So my stock down player for the week is unfortunately Jonathan Brook, somebody that you and I talked about a lot on this podcast.
That's a shame, man.
A while ago. There's just no way he does not come back to school. I can't imagine him getting the draft capital. Maybe. There's some people out there saying that he might still get drafted, but I don't know I don't think a team's going to take a shot with not knowing how the ACL injury is recovering and that type of thing. So it's a real bummer. He was a really nice player and probably a top 3 or 4, for me anyway, at this point in the draft cycle. So he's got to be a stock down, because most likely he's, I think, going to come back to Texas.
It's a shame, man. He was the guy who waited patiently for his turn, and this happened. So I feel bad for him, but yeah, I agree. Stock down. And this one's going to be easy for me. My stock down guy is going to be Joe Milton. I think we could just put a little cap on the bottle and put this to rest. Joe Milton has 33 touchdowns in 6-year career. Jaden Daniels has 30 this season so far. So that kind of tells you everything you need to know as far as the Joe Milton experience is. It's no more. So Joe Milton's definitely a stock down.
Yeah, it was definitely a player that I think got some early look, only because I don't understand this, because people, just because he has a big arm and he can throw it 70 yards, people were like, oh, he's the next Anthony Richardson and stuff. I mean, people were talking about that kind of crazy stuff, which is
that's the size arm comparison. Yeah, the athlete, no way. I don't even think he's got like 383 yards or something like that rushing this year. Like, it's not the same.
I'm impressed you even know that. So
I looked it up right before we got on.
Okay. So there you guys got it. That is our stock report for this week.